Okay, here goes my intro. Hi, guys, it's Michelle Martin. I am the Education and Programming Coordinator, but also, in case you missed it, now the co-chair of EXP Military Network. So today, I'm really excited about today's training because it's all about networking, right? And I just want to tell you guys, like, I would not be sitting here talking to you right now if it wasn't for networking. It's the networking that I have been doing for the last year and some change has been out of this world and it has really changed my life. So I encourage you all to just like soak all of this information in and get out there because it's life changing. I happened to meet Becky at EXP Con because we were at our former company together and I was like, "Oh, hey girl." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here in leadership with EXP Milnet." And then it just kind of turned into what it is today. So anyway, I've given everyone a couple of extra minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and let our guest, Mandy. Oh, who is calling me? Good Lord, baby Jesus, hold on. Stop it. Don't call me. Hang on. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let Mandy get started with her presentation. Welcome, Mandy, and thank you so much for contributing to the group. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here today. Apologize in advance if I start coughing. I've been a little sick for a minute, but I have my warm cup, my water, my emergency cough drops. So we have everything just in case. So it should be great. I'm really excited to have this opportunity. I think what you said was spot on. Networking and just saying yes to things is a big part of why I've gotten to be where I am. And I'm forever grateful for the opportunities that EXP has given me and groups like the Millnet. So I've met some really amazing people, and I think that networking is definitely a big part of that. So I'm going to go ahead and try and share my screen really quick. Now, I have slides. They're not real pretty, but they're slides. So I hope that they'll do. Okay, I'm going to see if I can move you guys around. And come on, computer. There we go. I can't see you guys very well, so I'm going to move you to my second screen over here. If somebody has a hand raised or questions, just let me know. And I hope that this will be really interactive. I tried to keep it very sort of high level about networking and leave a lot of time for discussion because I think that collaboration like that is where we really find the gold and what works and help people through any hangups that they have about networking. And, we could really niche down into lots of different areas of networking. So if that's something that somebody wants, we can certainly do that in a different class or even have a discussion on that. But this is kind of, I think we'll get people, if you're not already networking at a high level, it's good to have a little nudge. So this is me. That's my big old face over there. And by the way, I'm working on two screens. So if it looks like I'm looking back and forth, that's because I am. I am in Abilene, Texas, which is kind of in the middle of the west part of Texas. We're about 2.5 hours east of Lubbock, 2.5 hours west of Fort Worth. So we're kind of right in that middle. They call it the big country of Texas. We have Dyess Air Force Base here. If you're not familiar, Dyess is one of the three bases that's part of the bomber program. We are going to be getting the new plane when it comes out. They've actually broken ground on our new facility here, and they anticipate the first planes to start coming in about 4 years. So they're expecting about 6,500 new personnel coming in for that. So you can imagine networking and being integrated is a very important part of my business. Whether I'm working with civilians or military, it's still very important. I was a military spouse for over 20 years. We lived CONUS and OCONUS. So we've done both. We've PCSed with two adults, two kids, two German Shepherds. And so that meant 8 suitcases, 4 carry-ons, some random stuff, two extra large dog kennels. Hopefully you don't hear them barking today. So I have been there. I have lived it. I've moved all over. I've felt the pain. So I love being amongst my people because I know y'all understand all of those pressures and challenges that we go through. Okay, let's see if I can get this to go. There we go. So a little bit about what we're going to talk about. It's just kind of, again, I very wanted to keep it sort of broad because networking, if you're not doing it, it's something to get used to. So it's a little bit about what we're going to talk about, why it feels hard, how to be visible, opportunities in your everyday life, why it works, and talking about what you do. A lot of people get hung up on that. And then the follow-up and some simple things that we can do to get you guys in action to start networking more effectively right away. Uh, okay. So networking without events or pressuring people. Events are a great way to network, but that is a whole niche thing. Again, that's like a whole nother class that we would have to kind of dedicate a whole hour to. But there are lots of opportunities every day, wherever you are, to network with people that you see, all the time on a consistent basis. You need to be very intentional. And actually the most important part, you do want to be intentional, but the very, very most important part is being authentic. And this is Milnet, civilians, it doesn't matter. People don't want to work with you if you're not authentic. If they cannot connect with you in some way, if they feel that you're being fake or cheesy or salesy, nobody wants that like used car salesman vibe. They just don't. They don't want to deal with you, right? They want you to be who you are. And when you are your authentic self, you're going to find your people. So that's the most important thing. If nothing else resonates with you today, I hope that being authentic is the one thing that you remember to do. So it's about building visibility and really just not pitching people. You don't need to sell people on working with you. If you connect with people in a genuine, authentic way, it's going to happen. Oh, I hope you don't hear him. He's rolling on his back like a dying whale over there. Okay. I love my dogs. I really do. So why network feels hard for people. Okay. We've all been in places where it is awkward and you're like, you go somewhere and you meet somebody new. You don't say, "Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm a realtor. Do you want to buy or sell a house?" Like, no, we don't do that. That's not how we approach this, right? That's awkward. It is very weird. You want to rate, I say the perfect moment in the notes, but for the right moment when it comes up naturally in your conversations, those are the best times when you are truly being interested in someone else, and it's a natural part of your conversation, that is your moment to shine, right? That's your moment to kind of just tell them what you do because you're genuinely getting to know them. And it's a really great opportunity to just ask more questions, ask about them. The more questions you're asking about the other person, the more they're going to want to know about you as well. Okay. So this is part of genuine rapport and relationship building. Now, networking and selling, two different things, right? If we're networking, again, genuine, authentic conversations, we want to know them. We want to know all the things about them. And not just because they're potential customers, because they're human beings and human beings are important. And it is important to be genuine with other people. When you switch into that selling mode, that's after they've expressed an interest to you, right? When they are potentially going to become a client and they want to work with you, that's kind of when we more work into those types of scripts and things. But the front part of it has to be a genuine relationship. Okay. Does anybody have trouble talking to people in general? I can see a few of us here. I'm trying to open it up a little. No, I can only see like the first four people. So if there's anybody, Michelle, that's like raising a hand or anything, you'll have to let me know. Otherwise, we'll just keep rolling here. So visibility. Okay. In advertising, marketing, whatever you want to refer to it as, there is a certain level of visibility that you have, right? Your presence, literally your presence at different places, right? The places that you go on a regular basis, where you show up consistently, that is your opportunity. to build those networks and relationships. If you have, a plumber you always like to use, if you have an electrician you always like to use, you're building those relationships. You should know more about them than their phone number and can they come over Tuesday to fix a leaky pipe. That's not building a genuine, that is transactional. And there's going to be some relationships in your life that are transactional, and that's okay. But if you want to have a deeper relationship, like with vendors that you can actually use as referral partners, if you guys want to talk about that, we can talk. There's a whole plan of how to use your vendors to generate more business, right? So, if we are using the same riffer all the time, and we want to consistently send our clients to the roofer. But what about in return? Are we just always giving? No, we would like to have them as a referral partner. So we need to ask them, hey, Bob, you did a great job. Thanks for taking care of my clients. I want to keep you as my number one guy that I recommend to my clients. But in return, I'd like to make you a referral partner. And I'd like to ask you to send me, one client a month, one potential referral a month. Can you do that? That's pretty easy for most people that are working in and around real estate. That is part of building that network. When you have those good relationships with vendors, you can ask that of them. I actually know people that, you require two potential referrals per month from their vendors. And if it's been a while, Bob hasn't sent you somebody, then you have to have the hard conversation. Hey, Bob, I know we were going to be referral partners. I haven't seen anything from you in a while. What's going on with your business? Have a conversation. It's not an immediate cutoff. If Bob's just not able to send you anybody, you know what? That's okay. We're going to put you in timeout, in the penalty box, if you will, for, until you have some more referrals. Just tell them, like, you can come out anytime. You can come off the bench anytime you want. But the way it's going to work is by us being partners together. We have a network we're building, right? And we're going to share referrals together. Now, there's another way that we can do this. And especially, I think, in this particular community, since we're part of the MillNet, we all know veterans that are all the trades, right? I know just in my local market, and we're in a pretty small market. We're 130,000 people in our market. Okay. I can tell you a veteran in electrical, plumbing, roofing, the garage door guy, the home inspector guy, like all the things that we need that we use on a regular basis. Why not invite them all to lunch and make a group that's going to work together? This is a great way to network, right? Get everybody together and be like, hey, my idea is this. We're going to be a referral group together and we're going to share referrals. That doesn't mean you're going to get every one of their referrals, but if you all have a similar goal of working together, you all want to grow your businesses, this is a great way to do it, building that deep, deep relationship with them. Okay. Anybody have questions on that? That's one of my favorite ones. So like vendors and making a group is really important. In fact, one of my women's business groups has been one of the best referral sources that I've had because I've poured into that group. And they're not all realtors. In fact, most of them are not anything to do with real estate, but I've poured into those relationships. So it doesn't have to be real estate related. This is just a women's business group, women in business in my town. And we all want to grow in our various businesses and we help refer people to each other. So it doesn't have to just be real estate. Like this translates to every aspect of your life. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so again, this is talking about everyday life places that you go. I guarantee you, if you think about it, you can think of 10 places that you're going on a regular basis, once a week or more. It might be your local Starbucks or coffee shop. Gym. For me, I go to the gym almost every day. And then I know people there. Schools, pickups, PTO, PTA, book club, whatever it is, hiking club, whatever it is that you do, the dry cleaners, all of those places are potential networker for you. That is your network. But what you have to do then is decide which of those areas do you want to go deeper on. Do you know your dry cleaner's name, their first name? You see them probably once a week if you use dry cleaning, right? Do you know their first name? Maybe it's a good chance to introduce yourself and just ask about them. That's how we grow a network. It's being intentional with where you're going, the time that you're there, and making the other person know that they are important, even if it's just for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever the time is that you're there.
Can I chime in on that a little bit, Mandy? Because you just made
Absolutely.
me think of something. And so I'm sure a lot of us have kids. And so I got a teenager and a pre-teenager, right? And,
Mhm.
in the past, I've not been that mom that wants to chat with the other moms. I'm just like, ugh. Like I'm just, in my phone or whatever at the games or just not really into it, like not participating with the PTA or nothing like that. And then so fast forward, we moved to where we currently live like about a year and a half ago. And then so my son wanted to have a birthday party and he invited a bunch of friends, but only the one friend showed up and he came with his parents. And then so it turns out his parents came and I made it a point to like get to know her. Well, turns out she's an agent too, right? And then we just hit it off. We just hit it off, right? And then so fast forward, she in from that one relationship, she invited me to hang out with a group of wives, and the reason that that group of wives exists is because all the husbands get together and play basketball on the regular. So now my husband gets to go hang out with the guys, which making friends for the guys is a little harder than the girls sometimes, right?
Ah, so
And
win-win.
and then, but I get to now have like, I got introduced now to a bunch of other women who I would have otherwise not known in the community, seeing as how like I particularly work from home, right? So unless I meet people that way, I have literally no way of meeting people. So, and that was just by my kid inviting a friend to his birthday party, right? I could have just never spoke to her again. I could have barely interacted with her at the party. She could have chosen to leave the party, just drop the kid off, right? But it's about like being intentional about deciding to speak to that person, being intentional about getting that phone number. As soon as she mentioned basketball, I said, "Hey, didn't you want to go play basketball?" Like I inserted him in there, right? And then so all of the that opportunity could have turned out completely different had I not like really made the intention to connect, get the phone number, insert myself, like, you know what I mean? And so anyway, I just wanted to throw that out. And
That's awesome.
that's not something I looked for. It's just something that happened naturally in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and I have sort of a similar story. So, we've all PCS somewhere, especially if you have kids and, you don't know anybody. And I mean, it's awkward. Like you have to start all over. We've all done it a million times. Uh, sorry. Uh, but so when we first moved here, we were super familiar with the area. We had been to Abilene one other time, um, but we weren't really like intimately familiar with parts of town or whatever. So the house that we ended up purchasing, this house, one, I love my neighbors. Like I won the neighbor lottery. I have the best neighbors in the entire world. So that was great. But my daughter in her class, they have a thing here called Destination Imagination. It's like a competition. Kids get to compete in different categories. This one happened to be robotics, and they put out a call to all the fifth grade parents. Hey, we need some coaches for this, to kind of help the kids walk through it. So I raised my hand. I try to be involved with, all the things that the kids are doing. And one other mom also kind of raised her hand. Well, it turns out our girls ended up being best friends. They are literally like just little magnets. They are inseparable. But the mom and I have also become best friends. So it's been a really interesting, but through that relationship, yes, I actually have done business with her and her husband. We've done like 3 transactions. But more than that, I've also met my home church community that we're in now. I've met, a ton of other ladies in business here. So you are 100% correct. Like I said, this translates to all facets of life. It doesn't, it doesn't matter. Like if you're networking and being intentional with your time, that's what's important. So anybody else?
Mandy, can I jump in real quick too?
Absolutely. Sorry, I can't see everybody. So please, yes, go
That's all
ahead.
right. I wanted to also, you touched on the vendors. One of the things that happened to me recently was my husband and I had a guy come in and look at our HVAC, and he was working on the heating air conditioning and all that stuff and just doing maintenance work. And when he left, he was like, here's my business card. And I am over here reaching for mine. My husband's just talking to him. And I looked at his name and I introduced myself and I said, thank you for your card. I would love to give you some feedback at your company for you. And I was like, would you be a peach and refer people to me in the area because I'm newer in Oceanside and in San Diego, and I would love to get some referrals. And he was like, oh my God, yeah. And he goes, aren't you that girl on Facebook that I'm seeing? Which means that when you're marketing and you're doing all that retargeted marketing and everything that goes with it, he was like, I know you. And I was like, yeah, that's me. Sorry. And
Awesome.
he started laughing. And so I gave him my card and a couple of them. And I said, here's one to throw away and one to keep. Maybe you can refer me. And he basically laughed and said he'd be happy to. He
Mhm.
literally put me in his phone and he said, where do you work? And I said, well, I would love to tell you all of San Diego County, but where I'm locally at is La Jolla, San Diego, and Deep East County, San Diego. So if you have any referrals over there, please send them my way. And it was just that simple. So when you have people coming into your house, whether they're
Yeah.
plumbers, electricians, people, carpenters, for the guys out there that are, needing work and you're having all these folks come into your home, don't forget to send out your business cards to them and ask them for referrals.
Mhm.
I know that there's a lot of us ladies in here and we're talking about female networks and it seems female centered a little bit. For the guys out there, make sure you hand those cards out to your vendors, just like what Mandy said. Don't forget that. It's super important. When you go to military museums, like out here in San Diego, we have the USS Midway. We have all these different areas out here in San Diego. If you have stuff like that in your area, go there, meet people, connect with them, and write their names down and their phone numbers and their email addresses and just get to know them. You probably already know this, but for those who maybe are overlooking that, it's a good way to fill your name book and your address book with contacts and people you can network with and stay in touch. Which leads me to Christmas cards, holiday cards with no sales pitches, just simply touching bases with them. Even on
Yeah.
Facebook, I sent out 300 little personal um, PMs to people saying Merry Christmas. And all I did was send them a Christmas card of me and my family, just so
Mhm.
that they
Yeah.
had me top
Another
of
thing
mind.
that's really effective, like on Facebook or social media in general, or even texting, to be quite honest, is just a really short video. Even if it's 15, 20 seconds, um, hey Tiffany, this is Mandy. I just wanted to stop in really quick and say, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Done. That is so much more powerful than sending a quick little text. A text is better than nothing. A video is better than a text. So I agree. Another place that I have found a lot of success is my Chamber of Commerce. We have a really, really active Chamber of Commerce here. We also have, actually, I didn't think about putting any pictures in there. We have what we call our red coats. We literally wear red coats. And we do get a lot of pins from different companies. And what we are essentially is economic ambassadors. We go around to grand openings, anniversary celebrations, ribbon cuttings, all the things that, are going on in our community that, the chamber would be involved in. It's a volunteer position, but I'm trying to scroll and see if I can find some pictures really quick because we didn't do any in December really. It was pretty much closed down. But I get to meet, let's see, well, there's me. This was at a accounting company, so we got to see a bunch of people. I mean, this is a new stack of cards. Like I literally collect a business cards like they're going out of style. Um, and that's newer. Like those are the newest ones that I still need to put in my system. And again, we are in a small community. I have 130,000 people in our area. But you know who I meet? Literally everybody that's part of the chamber. And it's everybody from every business in town, every type of business, walk of life, all the things. And it is a great way, even if you're not volunteering like I am, to be there at all the ribbon cuttings. We have networking events multiple times a month. And if you're using that time really effectively, you're not just going in, finding your one friend that you know over in the corner, going and standing there and chit-chatting the whole time, right? If you're really there to meet people, and I say this with all the love for all the introverts because I hear you, I see you, I am you. I'd much rather be at home with my dogs, but I also need to build a business. So what am I doing? I'm out talking to people and getting cards, right? I I go in and I'm like, okay, I have a goal, like 3 cards and everything, every event that I go to, a minimum 3 cards. But you also, and just be like, hi, I'm Mandy. Here's my card. Do you have a card? You really need to have a little bit of dialogue with them. And then of course the follow-up. The follow-up is really the secret sauce is always in the follow-up afterwards. So yeah, that's really good examples. And sorry guys, I didn't realize I was being women network heavy on that. That's just what I'm involved in. Feel free to chime in and tell me about all the guy stuff that you do. Anybody else have basketball, golf, whatever? I would love to hear about that too. Okay,
We
so
got some suggestions in the chat before you go on to the next one.
oh
So John
yeah,
mentioned that he recently joined the American Legion, but he needs to
yes,
get back in there and spend some time. So that's a great spot. And then
yeah,
Silas mentioned a coffee shop, run clubs, and stuff like that. So I mean,
yeah.
things that you're gonna do already anyway, right? Like,
Yeah.
so why
So
not
one
go
of
meet
my
people over there?
Yeah, one of my local lending partners does a fundraiser every Friday at a coffee shop. Their company does it's American Warrior Initiative, and they donate trained service dogs to service members that need them. So she's raising money so that we can do one in our local community this year. And so every Friday we go to the coffee shop, and she invites a bunch of people. She and I have talked about how to tweak it a little bit, and my suggestion to her was have a vendor sponsor it every year or every month or every week, sorry. And then they invite their network. So then we're meeting new clients, not just other agents and other lenders, but we're potentially meeting other clients and sort of networking. So that's something she's going to grow that program. So if you don't have something like that, like a weekly coffee, have one of your vendors sponsor it. Title companies, roofers, they got the money and they like to spend it on meeting potential new clients. So that's another way to do it. The run club is a great idea. I don't run anymore. My back doesn't like it, but I do go to the gym every day. So that I do know a lot of people from the gym. I still lift weights and do my spin class and all that. My back doesn't like the running anymore.
Uh,
Okay,
John also mentioned that he's got his daily coffee truck that he goes to, and now he's
perfect.
looking for land for them as well. So there you
See,
go. I mean, your vendors
yeah,
turn into clients. Like I've had my inspectors turn into clients, my lenders turn into clients. So,
yeah. When
anywhere you go.
yeah, everywhere. Every good relationship is an opportunity. When you're consistent, and you've built trust, that's who they want to do business with, right? So that's why it works, especially in this community, because we want to be with people we trust, right? None of us want to be working with somebody that's a little bit shady. Your reputation truly, truly does matter. It doesn't matter what size market you're in. We did have an agent here recently that did some very unethical things to one of our agents, like on the opposite side of the transaction. And we're in a small area. I mean, we only have a few hundred like active agents. So that gets around really, really quick. But even if you're in a big market, right? Like Tiffany said, like on Facebook, if she didn't have a good reputation with all her marketing, like that could really go south quickly. So I trust that everybody in here though is a fantastic agent and doing everything that, we can for not just this community, but our clients in general. But I mean,
Mhm.
it really does matter if you're known as being easy to work with, somebody who has the right goal in mind. The goal isn't to get your paycheck. The goal is to get the clients to the closing table, and somebody gets to sell a house and somebody gets to buy a house, right? Those are the client's needs are the true goals. So having that in mind really goes a long way. And being consistent. So I have my gym that I go to every day. John has the coffee truck that he's had every day. Like those things really matter. And it sounds like it's worked out really well for you. I actually have
Mandy,
yes,
can I drop in one more quick comment
absolutely,
about the
please. I love
marketing?
the
Okay,
conversation.
okay, good. I'll try to be brief.
Yeah.
When you were
Okay.
talking about online marketing with people, one of the
Uh-huh.
things that I had to learn was many of you out there have really beautiful backgrounds. And many of you out there are super impressive. But one of the things that I learned recently, because I'm a former lawyer, is that it's really easy to overshadow people when you think that you're helping people. And by your credentials and by what you have to offer, you might not be, because you might not be putting them first. So believe
Mhm.
it or not, ChatGPT was was my backdrop for this, and this was a tool you can use. I actually went on ChatGPT and I was like, why are people not calling me? Why are people not talking to me? I'm out there, they're seeing me, what's going on? And I threw one of my marketing ads out there, and he straight out told me, it's all about you. He was like, your background is here, and that's what they're seeing. And it's you. And he was like, you think you're helping people by what you have to offer based on your tools, but they don't see that through their lens. They're looking at, oh my God, that's something I don't want to deal with. I'll just go with somebody else. And so what he told me to do was get a QR code that it represents my background and my bio, and to put that there because it's not my face. It's not me going, hey, look at me. It's a QR code. It's not threatening. And then, like, if you go on my page, I have a video that I use from Canva that has a military person on there, and she's saluting, and there's a couple military people behind her. And I put some really cool music behind it. And then, very small print, I just put my name and contact information, no picture of me, but the QR code was there. I've had 97,000 views on that. And I've had 67 people that clicked on that and went to my webpage. So the point of all of that is not making about you. And that's what Mandy was hitting on. Make it authentic, make it genuine, make it about them, make it about what they can get from you. And that starts the conversation. So I hope that tidbit helps somebody, because it was a crash course for me. And I I wanted to share that because it was important. When you can put yourself behind a QR code and let people see what they can get from you, that you can help them, that actually works out really well.
Yeah. And I think that goes kind of into the next part of, don't be weird about it, right? We want to be very clear and not salesy. Nobody wants to feel like, when you walk on the car lot and 8 car salesmen come running at you, from different corners of the lot, because they all want to be the one that gets there first. Nobody wants that. And so I think that's a really great point. Thank you for sharing that. That kind of really hit the nail on the head. Like it needs to be, it needs to be about the clients and how you can help them, but not with, leading with all your acronyms and all the things. And it's not that they don't care. They just don't know enough about you yet to need to know that. They need to know, the reputation you have as being a
Well, the truth
helpful.
is, they don't care,
Yeah.
because, and that sounds rough, but
No, it
they like,
doesn't. It's honest. I love it.
well, they don't care. And think about this: when you go to the grocery store and you're picking out things to shop for, and you've got someone going, hey, look at these bananas. I'm a banana expert. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. And bananas are so good. And you're just like, whoa. Or when you walk into a clothing store and the very first thing those salespeople do is hop on your back, that's not what we want. We want
Sure.
to have some room to breathe. And we want
Right.
to know, if we have questions, we want to be able to go to you. We don't want you imposing yourself on us. So it's the same thing for realtors. And I see that all the time.
Yeah, it needs to be a natural part of the conversation. I think really building that rapport and authentic relationship and having it come up naturally is so much better. Now, yes, we are online, we're all doing marketing, and so that is another piece of that conversation. But when you're one-to-one with people, and once they reach out to you, once somebody interacts, like with your ad or whatever, and you get them into your system, that's the time to take over and really like show that sort of authentic, non-salesy kind of approach. So again, this kind of all ties in together. I hope you guys are seeing a theme here, right? The trust is from the follow-up, right? So these are all newer cards that I have. Oh, I just dropped half of them. These are all newer cards. These all have to go into the system. They all need to be followed up with, and that's a lot of cards. but the follow-up is the easy part, I feel like. But low pressure. Hey, send a text like, hey, Tiffany, this is Mandy. We met last week at the coffee network. I just wanted to follow up and say it was so great to meet you. I'd love to get together with you again. That kind of thing. Ask for the appointment, right? We do that with our clients. We talk about it in production. We're asking for the next appointment. When we're at the appointment, we want to set the next appointment. It's the same thing with networking. If you really have a connection with somebody, and here's the thing, you're going to come across people you're going to meet out in the wild when you're networking, and you're not going to like them. And it's okay. Not everybody has to be for you, and you're not going to be for everybody. So that's why being authentic is so important, because when you are authentic, you're going to naturally draw people to you that, are your people that you are going to be for. So just be consistent, be authentic, and I think it's easy to have a lot of success that way. Okay. So simple action plan. If you're not already doing some sort of networking, and if you are, then maybe you double it or three times this. Choose 2 or 3 places that you are already going on a reoccurring basis, whether that's daily, weekly. I wouldn't say so much monthly, but if that's your option that you feel like you want to grow, that's okay too. And make it a point of learning the name of whoever it is that you interact with. So if it's your dry cleaner and you don't know his name, next time you go in, introduce yourself, get his name, be like, hey, how's business been? Or, whatever is natural in the moment, to talk to them. Get that information, learn their names, have a real conversation with them. Doesn't have to be, an hour-long conversation, a couple of minutes, a natural conversation, and then let them know what you do in the way that it comes up naturally in the conversation. Because again, that's, we don't want to be weird about it, but we do want to let people know what we do, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with letting them know what you do. But I would say this is also your opportunity to have a really cute, not cute for the men, a really effective tagline, if you will. I used to, I love my dogs. So sometimes, depending on your audience, this may vary a little bit depending on your audience. When people say, well, what do you do? I help dogs and their families find homes. So like it takes a second. You have to think about it. Why? Because dogs and their families, right? It's not families find a dog or dog to find a family. It's dogs and their families to find a home. It was cute. It works depending on your audience. So have fun with it. Be creative, because that in the moment is going to tell you who is for you, who is not for you. If they don't like what your tagline is or it doesn't resonate with them, maybe that's, something that isn't going to be for them. But it's just a fun way, a sort of an icebreaker also. And you're not saying, I'm a realtor, I'm just a realtor. First of all, the word just is my least favorite word in the English language because it minimizes everything and I don't like it. You're not just a realtor, right? We're powerful professionals that really fill a need in our communities, and that's important. So, yeah, that's my takeaway is make yourself a goal of having, 2 or 3 new names in your database every week and build those relationships. Follow up with them, once a month or however often the cadence sort of fits that relationship and that need, because it may vary. There's not a one size fits all, but make sure you're following up. That's the key. Just make sure you're following up at some point, you know. Hey, Jim, sorry, it's been a while. I haven't talked to you. How's everything going? Do you have a great holiday break? Whatever it is that fits the relationship that you're working to build. Because the more you build it, the more you're going to get out of it. The more you pour into them, the more they're going to want to pour into you. That is natural. Anybody else have anything they want to add? I think that was everything.
Hello.
Uh, yep.
Hi, my name is Jason. I'm in the Columbus, Ohio market. I'm actually the second time getting licensed. So like, I'm a vet, like why I'm here. So I just wanted to share my feedback from a guy's perspective. Might be a little, go ahead. No, yeah, I agree with everything that we're going here. Everything needs to be natural. I don't like it when someone's approaching me for a certain purpose, like you said, transactional. So like the gym, the range, whatever I'm doing, walking my dog outside is all opportunities. But it has to be my rule is they ask me, right? I talk to them, and when they ask me what I do at that point, then that's a good first impression. Because since me, with serving in the Iraq wars back in the early 2000s and stuff, I communicate with people differently than I used to. So if they can get past that armor and wall that I put on since then I think that's a good bond, especially when your clients are also other vets. I think that really helps. I've learned the instant kind of camaraderie you get, not even knowing their name. I mean, there's people at the gym I've known for years. I don't even know their first name because I just fist bump them all the time and see them there and spot them and stuff like that. But
Everybody at the gym has a nickname though, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the guy
yeah.
with the back,
There's one guy.
guy, or the girl with the big sweatshirt or
Yeah.
whatever.
And I agree. It has to be organic. Now, the thing I would tell anyone, this is more of a marathon than a sprint. It takes time. You can't force people, and especially after the NAR thing, our whole we're stigmatized as a group of people, right? Some people think as the used car salesman, they don't know. They have to see you involved in your community and things like that. Like I'm trying to get volunteer for the VA at the hospital where I go to. There's a lot of paperwork involved, but that's just one of many avenues that I could take to put myself and have real estate be a secondary thing, and my primary thing is just helping the community, but the real estate is secondary, and nobody knows that until they scan a QR code or some. And I've seen this clever thing. They got QR codes on the back of your shirt now, so you aren't like a walking billboard where they scan your shirt or something like that. I've seen that all the time, but yeah, you just never tell people right up front because they don't want that. They want to talk to you. They want to see you as a person who cares about them. Because at the end of the day, the number one rule of a realtor is putting your client's needs above your own or above your own, right? So I think they have to see the genuine, care in your voice and in your tone. And then once you have that, then, when it comes up, then say it. And like you said, with the vendors, I've talked with some of the people, and when they find out I'm a vet, then they're like, it's almost like an instantaneous thing. Like I was saying, it's different than say a civilian doing it. Cause they say, thank you for your service. And I'm like, what do I say to that? So, but I think this is different. Like you were saying before, like it is different for males to approach the industry than a female would. But I think this is my second. Go ahead.
It is a long game. You're right. That networking and
Yeah.
relationship building like that in your community, it is the long game, but it's also a
Yeah.
learn. Like I said, I'd much rather be at home, with my dogs or in my garden working than being out networking. I've actually learned to really enjoy it because I have met some really wonderful people that I would never have been able to meet if I wasn't putting myself out there deliberately and intentionally. So that's been really great. But yes, it's a learned skill. It is not something any of us are really just born naturally with. Like, even if you're an extrovert, most extroverts are not intentional with how they're communicating with people. And so, like, to your point, like, let them bring it up. But the way to do that is by just asking them about themselves, getting that conversation started. And letting it go where it's going to naturally go, which, if you're asking about someone else, they're going to want to know about you too. So I think it's really great.
Yeah, just treat it like a first date. Be more curious in the other person than they are in you. And if they bite, then let it go on. But that's the only thing about their relationship. It's not like you're trying to reel them in, right? You got to give them, the benefit of the doubt of their intelligence, and don't insult them with that they know if you're being, genuine or not. And I just, I have, with my experience, I know that about people all the time. So I just have to be able to, like you said, take my introvert part and put myself out there. But it's a paradox because you'll never know the great people you meet unless you do that, but you're afraid to do that, right? So it's kind of like a leap of faith, like the whole Superman adage, right? You got to take that leap of faith and just let people know you as a good person. And then what is it, 5 to 7 years before you get on a referral basis, things like that.
Like, even in marketing, like, it takes, if you're talking about a low sale of something, it takes 5 to 7 touch points for you to make a purchase. A midline purchase, like a local professional or something, is like 8 to 12 touches. And now for large purchase, especially like a financial investment like our industry, it takes from 12 to over 20 touches for somebody to know, like, and trust you. So it is the long game. That's online ads,
Yeah.
seeing your face, literally like in person, talking to them, texting
It's the
them.
biggest financial decision of their life, right? So it's like it's nothing to take lightly, and that's understandable, right? When I go through this house, my realtor, who got me into the game, a few years ago, he told me about it, and then it just kind of like because he was a veteran too, and so that kind of that bond helped from that. But I understand it is a huge decision, and especially if you're dealing with a couple or something like that, where there's more than one person involved, it is a big decision. So I think we just have to let them be in the driver's seat, answer questions, say yes. And if you don't know the answer, get back to them as early as you can, kind of stuff. But like, give them the driver's seat. Let them decide.
Yeah, and that's where our sort of soft skills have to come in. I know AI is huge, especially in my local community. We were sort of at that epicenter when the new administration made the announcement about all of the infrastructure that was going to be going into place for AI data centers. And Abilene was the one that they already had started. And so that was part of their big announcement. So it instantly put our small community on the world stage. And I love, like, again, that's a whole nother part of networking. Like, that's been a new ball of wax for me to attack. But in AI, it's great. It's very helpful. I love ChatGPT, all the things. But the one thing it's not going to be able to replace is our soft skills, how we communicate and interact with human beings on a one-to-one. It's never going to be able to replace that. And I think it's even more important now that we practice those and kind of get out of that comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
before
want
I
to be
forget,
an active listener. You
yes.
definitely want to be an active listener. Do way more listening than you do talking.
Yep, for sure. And if y'all want, I would love to connect with you guys. Instagram is kind of where I'm mostly at. So that's my handle on Instagram, Mandy Dixon Realtor. I love to kind of share all the things over there for realtors and all of that. And then the QR code is just my digital card. So of course, any questions or anything you have. I like to connect with people. So it's been in this Milnet, I think it's really great. I know we've kind of gone through a little bit of change in this department, but it's been fantastic. And I think it's it's going to be so much more effective going forward. And I'm really grateful that you guys gave me your time today to just be a little tiny part of it. I hope we get to come back again and either learn from someone else or talk about something else. There's just a lot of different ways that we can grow our businesses. So I hope that there was something that was, a good nugget for you guys today, that it was a little bit helpful. I know I love these masterminds. I get so much out of them.
No, it was super great. Thank you. And I just want to add just a couple of things on networking, guys.
Absolutely.
Like you, a great coach once told me, when we were just talking about lead generation in general, whenever you get started in real estate, what do they tell you, right? Like, do open houses, do cold calling, whatever,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And as was mentioned a second ago, Jason, I think he said, like, this is very much a marathon. So whenever you're, thinking about getting started in this networking relationship building game, if you're intentional about it, of course, it'll happen a little faster, but it's going to happen naturally anyway, just because in the process of you doing business, you're going to meet people, right? But if you ever want that business of just referrals, a referral based business, right? Where your past clients keep coming back to you, where your vendors refer people, where your clients refer people to you, right? Like that is this is what you got to do. You got to network in all the ways. And then I think when we think networking, we also think in person. But what you're doing on social media when you're saying hello and, oh, your dog is so cute, and, oh, look at that baby, and, oh, that was a great trip you took. That is all networking, right? Network, to me, when I hear networking, I think making friends, right? Like just literally the act of making friends. So I tell people, I was like, don't complicate being a realtor, guys. It is going to take a little bit because you don't just I mean, sometimes you do, right? But like, you don't just suddenly like make your bestest friend in the entire universe, But if you just think about it, like all I need to do is go out into the universe, speak to other humans, make some friends, and then be a good friend and keep in touch with my friends. And then all of a sudden, everything that we just discussed is going to happen by itself. Because you're going to meet them, you're going to know about their families, you're going to know about when their birthday is, and you're going to say happy holidays, and you're going to do all those things naturally because that's what you would do if you were a good friend, right? Like, so it's like, and isn't that a more enjoyable way to lead generate? Like, that's what the coach told me. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right, man. Like, I'm going to dance class several times a week. I could just make friends with those girls instead of me, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
calling or whatever, right? Like, just do this is a more enjoyable way to like live that real estate life, right? Just, but you got to be intentional about it, right? It's not
If you're
willy-nilly either,
doing
just like with
something that
everything
you
else.
enjoy and they're also
Yeah.
happen to be here, that means you guys are probably the kind of people that would like each other's company. It's so
Boom.
easy.
Yeah. You got to like each other, you got to know each other, you got to trust each other. So if you already share the same interests, like for example, in our Millnet group, right? We all share the same interests, we all have a similar background. So we like each other, right? And we're getting to know each other. Now it's like the follow-up, like you mentioned, Mandy, it's the building the trust. That's the only part that's missing. And the more you get to know someone and the more the longer you're in a relationship with them, the longer the trust, like the easier the trust will come. And but like I said, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, but boy is it effective when you're intentional about it and you do it consistently for a long period of time.
For sure. Yeah, because if you're authentic and have a deep connection with one person, they want to introduce you to, when real estate comes up in another conversation where you're not present, your name
Yeah,
is going to be top of mind. And because they like you and they want to know that, you're going to take good care of their friend that, need the realtor. So I think that's really
100%.
yeah, awesome. Just out of curiosity, is anybody in this group potentially interested in learning more about like attraction, agent attraction, building, whether you're building a team or solo and building a downline? Just curious if that's something that's okay.
We're getting some yeses in the chats.
Yeah,
Yes.
do that. All right, I will
Definitely.
talk to Michelle about that and see if she'll allow me to come back with some more resources.
Yes, yes. Anything. Yeah. And for the record, guys, and for anyone who's watching this after in the recording, any suggestions on trainings that you'd like to hear, please let us know, right? So, like, we're doing this training for you. So, as I put together the first quarter, almost the first quarter of this, when we kind of kicked it off, I tried to make it, varying types of training, right? Like I just tried to keep it nice and different. But if there's anything in particular, like, hey, I need a refresher on that. Hey, I'd like that person to come back, or hey, I, want to learn about this and I don't see that on the schedule. Please let us know because we're doing this for you guys, right? Like we want this training to be whatever you guys want it to be. So yes, Mandy, let's talk about that. But yes, absolutely, guys, anything for the record that you want, please bring it to our attention, or bring it to me directly, or you could bring it to your state squad leaders and they'll take it up the chain. Silas is on here. He is our state squad leader coordinator along with Justin, who is not here. So remember his name if you guys need anything on the state squad leader side. He is in there. He is there for that as well.
Okay. Well, thanks again, everybody, for time. I'm grateful that everybody participated, and I hope that it was helpful. And thanks, Michelle, for giving me this opportunity. It was really
Of
great.
course, Mandy. Thank you for contributing to the community. That's what it's all about. That's what we need. And then we have a question in the chat, Silas. I'm not sure if you're there. Where do we find the state squad leader list? Actually, I would tell you contact Silas.
Okay.
He's got the whole thing. I do not have the list. Yes,
Okay.
we are working on it, by the way, since you guys are here. We are working on a hub, like a centralized hub, if you haven't heard. So all of our trainings are going to be on there. All of our contact infos and everything are going to be on there. So we're going to be able to chat with each other on there. So it's a really, really cool system. We are working on it. There's a lot of moving parts. But just so you guys know, like our new leadership board is like really out here, like busting our tails to try to make this like as streamlined of a community as possible, just to be able to, give you those resources in as easy of a fashion as possible. Try to keep everything organized. So I'm really excited about all of that. But yes, so thank you guys for coming out to the training. As a reminder, this happens twice a month. So it is what is it? Hold on, where are we? The first and the third Tuesday of every month at noon, we have a training. So if you're wondering like, oh, what's going on this Tuesday or whatever, hop into the Facebook group. Our lovely VA is always posting the upcoming trainings, and she posted several times before it happens. But in case you're not sure, hey, every first and third Tuesday at noon, we are here. We're doing some kind of training. So, do we have shirts or hats? Yes, they sell all of that in the EXP swag store as well. So check that. And they have it for all the resource groups, for all the One EXP resource groups. And so we're in there. Yeah, so you can get all your cool swag for all of our events. But yeah, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna ride out of here on back to work, back to our networking, right? Thank you so much, Mandy, and thank you everyone for being here. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.